So, sometime last week, Bleacher Report put out this article of the top 24 players under 24 by Mr. Sean here on Twitter. Um, so I'll leave the link to the article in the comment section, but the article basically just went over this guy's top 24 players in the league so far, and it was terrible. It was one of the worst lists I've ever seen. We just scrolled past Talon Horton Tucker being better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he said this is only in this year. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give my 24 players under the age of 24, but it's going to be a little bit more than just this year, because I think if you're judging players under the age of 24, you want to look to the future as well. I mean, that only makes sense, is they're 24 or younger, so they're under 24 years old, so you want to know what they're doing going forward because they're the younger players in today's generation. So basically, their list was bad. I'm going to make a list. It might be just as bad, but this is, just my opinion. This is what I see. At number 24, LeGuence Dort, otherwise known as Lou Dort. Now, Lou Dort this year has been having one of his best scoring seasons, and he has one of the best upsides of a guard in the league. He is right now 22 years old, and he is going to guard your team's best player, and right now he's averaging about 17 points per game, so he'll give you about 17 points per game on the other side with a much improved three ball since what we've seen for the past couple of years. So I expect going forward that his offensive game and his efficiency, for that matter, will improve from where it is right now. So 24, we have Lou Dort. 23, Kevin Huerter. Now, Kevin Huerter was pretty high on the Bleacher Reports list. I have him lower, and we'll get into why a little bit later. Kevin Huerter is one of the best shooters on the Atlanta Hawks team. He's coming off the bench and averaging a pretty good amount of points. He was a lot of people's sixth man of the year coming into the year. He's not, in my opinion, been one of the top six mans of the year so far this year, but he is still averaging 9 points per game on 35%. He's having a down year, but I expect that with his three-point shooting ability going forward, I have him as a higher potential player than Lou Dort, even though I personally like Lou Dort more because of his defensive upside. Number 22, I have RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is becoming one of the more underrated players in the league. Now this year he's having kind of a down year, so that's kind of why I have him on the lower side, is because he's shooting below 40% from the field right now. But I think his potential, especially on the defensive side of the ball, is just so astronomically high that I'm kind of willing to deal with him having a down year right now. Last year, he averaged 17 points. This year, he's only averaging 14 points on worse efficiency than he had last year. So I have RJ Barrett lower than I probably should, but just from what I'm seeing this year, I don't know where he's standing going forward, so I'm going to have him at the 22nd spot. At number 21, we have Tyrese Haliburton. Tyrese Haliburton coming in from Iowa State last year was my roommate's favorite player because he was a big Iowa State fan. So I watched a lot of footage on him, and I personally thought he should have got a lot higher. He fell in the draft to the Kings, but he has a very good shot. It's a little weird looking. It's not the prettiest shot, but it goes in. That's all that matters. He is a great playmaker, and I think he has the potential to be a pretty good defender in the league, or at least improve on that side. And he is probably the second best player in Sacramento right now, behind Devin Fox, who is also on this list, but he's going to be a little bit higher. So at number 21, Tyrese Haliburton. At number 20, Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony is a sophomore point guard for the Orlando Magic, and he is having a very good sophomore year after a pretty disappointing freshman year in the league. He's averaging 20, we'll round up for him. He's averaging 19.6, but we'll say he's averaging 20 points per game this year. and he is the number one point guard right now on the Magic, who was a team that had a lot of point guards, and we were kind of confused as a basketball group of who was going to be the starting point guard when you did get Markelle Fultz back, and now I don't believe they have Markelle Fultz back yet. But he has shined as their number one point guard on a struggling team, but he just has an insane upside of the scoring ability, so that's why I have him at number 20. Now, 19, I have Jarrett Allen. Now, Jarrett Allen is going to be one of the more controversial picks. I really like Jarrett Allen, don't get me wrong. But Jarrett Allen, I don't think he has a whole bunch of ground to improve on, in my eyes, to where he is right now. I think where he is right now is kind of where he's going to be for the rest of his career. And that's fine, because he's really, really good. But like I said, I am doing this list on potential and where they are right now. Where he is right now is very good. A defensive-minded center, a shot blocker, he's going to get lobs. But I just don't think he has the potential to go a whole lot further. I don't personally think he's going to develop an outside shooting game. I kind of think where he is right now is where he's going to stay. So that's why I have him at 19, a little bit lower than I probably should. If I was going only off this year, he'd probably be top 15. But this year and going forward, I'm having him at 19. At number 18, I have half of the Sexland backcourt, Collin Sexton. Now, Collin Sexton right now is out for the rest of the year with an injury. Get better soon, Collin. I was kind of hesitant to put him on here because of the injury. I just don't know where he's going to be at when he does come back with the injury. But there is a player on here that hasn't played so far this year, but his potential going forward is just absolutely insane, so he deserves to be on the list. And he is up for a contract, if I'm not mistaken. Collin Sexton was averaging 16 points per game on a kind of a down year, but I think his potential scoring going forward is just so high that I think he deserves to be on the list here. So that's why I have him at number 18. At number 17, I have Tyler Herro. Now, Tyler Herro on the Bleacher Reports article was number 6. That is insane. He's coming off the bench right now for a very, very good Miami Heat team. And he is putting up insane numbers. He is the sixth man of the year right now, in my opinion. If it ended today, it would be Tyler Herro. He's averaging 21 on 45, 40, 87 splits. Now, I am a person that values defense a lot. I really like players that play defense. And Tyler Herro does not do that. Not at all. He is one of the worst defensive players in the league from what I've seen. And now I don't have the advanced stats or anything to back that up, but from what I've seen, he just can't guard anybody. He's going to give you a whole lot of points on pretty good efficiency, but I don't think he'll develop that defensive side of the game. And I think, 20 points off a bench, I don't think he's going to be the second best player on a championship level team kind of thing. I think he'll probably have to be the third or the fourth best player on a championship team from what I'm seeing right now. Now, 5 years down the road, I could look back at this and be like, wow, I was really wrong. He is averaging 26, and I don't think he'll develop the defensive side of the game, so I'm not going to say that. But I think he has one of the more volatile futures in the league, just because I just don't understand where we're going from last year. Because last year he had a down year, this year he's having an up year. Where is the consistency here with Tyler Herro? At number 16, I have Miles Bridges, the most improved player so far this year. I have coming in at number 16. Now, Miles Bridges has cooled off a little bit since his first 2 weeks of the season, where he was averaging like damn near 25 points per game. Now he's averaging about 20 on 45, 30, 76 splits. His efficiency is actually down a little bit, but his role in the team is just so much larger. And he's starting now more consistently than he was last year. He started all of the games this year, and he's played very, very well in those games. So I think his offensive upside and his pure athletic ability is able to net him the 16th spot in my eyes. At number 15, I have the point guard for the Philadelphia 76ers, Tyrese Maxiell. Tyrese Maxiell has been filling the Ben Simmons shoes incredibly. He's been super, super good because we still don't know what Ben Simmons is up to. Reports are coming out that he's absolutely piss poor, broke, because last year they had Ben Simmons at the point guard. Ben Simmons isn't a very good three-point shooter, so bringing in a shot-creating, undersized point guard compared to Ben Simmons, and he doesn't really provide a whole lot defensively, especially compared to Ben Simmons, but having a shot-creating, three-point shooting, facilitating point guard, not really facilitating, a shot-making point guard like Tyrese Maxiell is something the Philadelphia 76ers needed, and now they have that. So good for them. At number 14, I have DeAndre Ayton. Now, DeAndre Ayton, I think, is one of the higher upside centers in the league because I think he can develop the outside shooting game, and I think his defensive ability is super, super good. And I think that he is the prototypical center that a lot of teams are going to be wanting going down, where he can facilitate the ball, he can dribble, he can shoot, he can defend. I think defensively is where he needs to grow the most. Now, he is good defensively, but I think if he wants to be the upper echelon, where I think he will be and I think he can be, I think he needs to be one of the top 5-6 defensive centers in the league. And I think he has the physique to do it. I think he has the athleticism to do it. I just think he needs to do it. At number 13, we have one of my favorite young players in the league, the other half of Sexland, Darius Garland. Darius Garland, coming out of Villanova, was one of my favorite prospects because that man can score the basketball like nobody else can. Nobody else can he is a certified bucket. He is absolutely amazing at getting the ball in the hoop. And with Collin Sexton going down, Darius Garland has absolutely flourished. I've been on the Darius Garland train for a while, so that's probably why he's higher than he probably should be. But Darius Garland, in my opinion, has no ceiling. He can be the best point guard in the league in 10, 15 years if everything goes how I think it can. Now, there's a lot of really good point guards that can be, and a lot of them are going to be coming up soon, but I think his pure scoring ability has him up there with those people. Like Devin Fox, who I have coming in at number 12. Devin Fox is having a down year this year. Seems like I'm saying that for a lot of people on this list, but Devin Fox is having a down year this year, unfortunately. So, but he's still having a good year, just not a De'Aaron Fox good year. He's been inefficient, but he still has the pure athletic ability to be super high and super good for the next 8-10 years. The three-point shot is coming along. The mid-range shot's been looking real good as of recent. And like I said, athletic, and he's going to be playing alongside a Davion Mitchell, who can kind of hide his defensive flaws. I think he can get a lot of steals just by jumping the lane with his speed and his IQ of the game. So, De'Aaron Fox I have coming in at number 12. Now, number 11, I contemplated leaving off the list because he hasn't played at all this year. We don't know when he's going to be back. And that player is, of course, Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson, when healthy, has probably the highest potential out of any of the players on this list. Maybe. He was averaging over 20 points per game last year on insane efficiency from the rim. He was big, he was strong, he was fast. Now, his defensive ability hasn't been what we thought it was going to be coming out of Duke, where, he was blocking shots from the other side of the court. He just hasn't been able to do that. We don't know what he's going to be looking like because of the health issues, the weight, and, all the intangibles of the Zion Williamson offseason. But I think when healthy and what we've seen for the past year, there's no reason to leave him off the list because of how much potential this man has. At number 10, cracking the top 10, Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes has been one of the more impressive rookies, if not the most impressive rookie in my eyes, because I personally thought that Jalen Suggs was the pick for the Toronto Raptors, but they shocked me and took Scotty Barnes And I thought Scotty Barnes was going to be a project. He was going to take a few years to be good in the league. And he came out the gates and is really, really good. Just last night, he went 4 of 9 from the threes. So he's taking a lot more threes, and he's starting to make them. And that's something that Scotty Barnes has been kind of pretty bad at, is shooting the three ball or even taking them. And now he has the confidence to take them, something that people compared him to still won't do. Ben Simmons. But his offensive side of the ball is looking real good. His offensive game needs polish. His playmaking needs a little bit more polishing. But I think his potential is through the roof, as is everyone in the top 10. At number 9, I have Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham's had a rough start to the season, but through the past 5 or 8 games, somewhere in that range, he's been really, really good. He's been the most impactful player on the Detroit Pistons. Now, under Jeremy Grant, has been scoring the ball the most, and you have, I guess that's it. I guess you have nobody else down there that's doing anything. But Cade Cunningham has the ball in his hands all the time, and he's been doing the most with it, averaging about 5 assists. And assists, especially on a team like the Pistons, are going to be hard to come by because they're not making a whole lot of shots. But he's been inefficient. He's been averaging 13 points. He hasn't been super, super good this year. But you see the flashes of potential of what Cade Cunningham can be. So you have to put him really high on this list purely based off potential. I think Cade Cunningham is the second best prospect of this draft. And I said that coming in. I said Cade Cunningham was the second best player in this draft coming in. And we'll get to the first in a little bit. But Cade Cunningham has nothing but potential, and it's hard to miss. He might be a little high because of how bad he's been playing, or how bad he started out the year, and he's had kind of rough games in and out. But I think we have to have Cade Cunningham up there because of what he can do. Number 8, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, on the Bleacher Reports list, they had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at like 23. Tyler Horton-Tucker was above him. Franz Wagner was ahead of him. Stuff like that. That's insane. Shai has almost been a borderline all-star this year. You could give him the nod, and I would not be mad at you. His efficiency has gone down, but he's still averaging 25 and 4. He's been better defensively. He's averaging 1 steal and about half a block. There's just no reason for him to be 23. I know the efficiency has been bad, but that will adjust, just like it has for Trey Young, just like it has for Damian Lillard. The efficiency will come back. They just had to get adjusted to, I guess, the new ball. So at number 8, I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Number 7, my favorite prospect from the 2021 NBA draft, Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley for the Cleveland Cavaliers has been their best player, probably. It's between him and Jared Allen and Darius Garland. You can give it to Indy the 3, and I won't be mad. As a power forward, he's been lights out defensively. He's been blocking shots left and right. He's been contesting the most shots in the league before he went down with injury. He's just everywhere on both sides of the court. And the Mavs play him tonight. I'm really looking forward to see what the Mavs will game plan around him, because he is someone that you have to game plan around now. At just 20 years old, averaging 14, 8, and 2 on 50, 33, 76%. This guy is going to be special for years to come. And I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again. He is the best player in this draft, in my opinion. At number 6, Anthony Edwards. We all know what Anthony Edwards is. Anthony Edwards is an absolute stud. He's a bucket. He's going to be really good. He's going to have defensive upside in a few years. There's not much to say. The top 6 guys I'm going to go through pretty quick because we all know how good they are. At number 5, Lamelo Ball. He's been compared to Magic Johnson for the past 3 years. And now, is that a little bit of a stretch? Maybe. But he's still been really good. He's been scoring the ball better this year. He's had a couple of bad plays where he tried to dunk the ball off an oop backwards. Got benched for it. But the playmaking is insane. The scoring has been improved. I think he could be defensive just because of how big he is. So, number 5, Lamelo Ball. At number 4, I have Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum has been infamously bad this year, but he's starting to pick it up. He's starting to pick it up pretty well. Last game against the Raptors, he had kind of a dud. He had like 6 points, but against Brooklyn, he was in the 30s, and he's been averaging about 30 for the past couple of week or so. So he's been figuring it out. He's very, very good defensively. He's good at creating his own shot. He just needs to step back into where he was the past 2 years, and there would be no concern on Jason Tatum. At number 3, Trey Young. Now, as I'm recording this, Trey Young actually won Player of the Week, so congrats, Trey Young. He's an electric player that you don't want to see in the playoffs. You don't want to go against him. He can shoot from anywhere. Now, the biggest thing I have with Trey Young is that he doesn't play defense, and he's really bad about moving without the ball. But he's the best pick and roll player in the league, maybe. Him and John Collins have been one of the best pick and roll duos in the league. So, number 3, I have Trey Young. At number 2, I have Ja Morant. Ja Morant has been an MVP candidate, especially early in the year. Now, that hype has kind of died off for the past couple of weeks. But coming into the year, he was an MVP candidate. He's been jumping over people. He's improved his 3 outside scoring game, which is something that he needed to do to take that next step, and he has done that. So congratulations to Ja Morant for that. So Ja Morant, absolute animal. I said all the time that I would have taken Ja Morant over Zion in the 2019 draft. So I've said that. I got made fun of a lot for it, but now looking back, I think I was right. I think if you get a redraft, you take Ja over Zion. And at number 1, I have Luka Doncic. He is a top 10 player in the league at 22 years old. He's the best player on one of the better teams in the league. He's having a down year this year, but even the down year for him is one of the better years for anybody on this list. He's the best facilitator on this list. You could debate that he's the best scorer on this list. He's been better defensively. He's not one of the best defenders on this list, but he's been better defensively on this list. So, Luka Doncic is just the undisputed number 1, in my opinion. The gap between him and Ja is pretty big. Luka Doncic is the best player under 24 years old. It just is, and he has so much potential, and everyone thinks that he's maxed his potential. He's not. He could still do so much more. A couple of honorable mentions I wanted to say was Franz Wagner, Cam Reddish, Mo Bamba. I'm sure I'm missing a couple of players. Jalen Green. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sure I missed your favorite player, so let me know who that was, and I'm not gonna do anything about it, but I probably missed a player here or there. But thank you guys for watching. Podcast is coming out Thursday. We'll see you then.